You gonna introduce me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Should I? Okay.
You weren't going to?
Well, I was gonna.
Hi, my name's Juan. You don't know who I am, but welcome to the YouTube channel.
Today we are sitting down with Juan Morales, who is a full-time creator, and myself, Nicole Shapiro, who is a freelance creator. And we're gonna be talking about 4 major things that are maybe challenges or benefits to either of our jobs.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Shout out to Matt and Connor from Viva Studios. If you are in Etobicoke and looking for a studio space, they have a fantastic space here. We're sitting in this beautiful, huge cyclorama.
One-on-one with me, I'm bringing the smoke to your house, get it sizzling. Whoa, yeah. I said,
Really good snacks.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Also, if you're from America and you don't know where Etobicoke is, we're in Toronto. You have to account for an international audience.
Shout out Matt and Connor. Thank you so much for letting us use your space. And let's get into the video.
What's up? My name's Jeff. No, I'm kidding. My name's Juan.
My name's Jeff.
My name's Jeff. My name's Juan. I am a full-time sports creative. I work for the NHL full-time. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I have not had as much experience freelancing as you have. I've always kind of either worked at one place or worked at several places. Like, sports is very different. But I've seen you freelance, and I've seen all our friends freelance, but we definitely have different perspectives when it comes to this.
Yep. Today we're going to be breaking down the differences between the...
Breaking down? I heard raking down.
Raking?
Sorry.
Break it up.
Break it up.
Break it down.
We're never going to get anywhere.
No, we're fine. We're zooming through. Today we are going to compare the freelance lifestyle to the full-time creator lifestyle within 4 different buckets. So the first one we are going to be talking about is separating work from life. The second one is creative freedom. The third one is finances. And the fourth one is structure.
Sorry to interrupt. This is editor Nicole here. I am realizing that only part 1 will be making it in this video. Stay tuned for 3 more videos because we just love to talk, and it is going to be way more than like a 10-minute video if we go through all 4 parts. So stay tuned.
So from a freelance perspective, separating work from life, in my personal experience, is quite hard. We don't have, strategic or separate work and play times during our day. It's really just up to you if you're a freelancer. It's something that I don't think I expected. It wasn't like a big red flag when I first started freelancing of like, be careful, you might be thinking about work 24/7 when I wake up and when I go to bed. That's literally all I'm thinking about. I think that's really the only way that you can succeed. Like, if you're freelancing, you have to be obsessive about it in a good way, like in a healthy way. But this year and last year, I think the pandy kind of helped that was, and Ryan, shout out Ryan, because he was a big support.
I miss you, Ryan.
Separating like life and also making sure I have a good balance of that has been a really good thing that I've put effort into. I think like even my friends notice it. I'm sure you notice it. When we first met, I was like, I would only hang out if we were editing or and you know what I mean? Now I'm just like, yeah, let's hang out and actually like grab food and maybe I can turn my work brain off for a second. So I guess maybe at the beginning of my freelance career, you kind of have to like get the ball rolling.
At the beginning of any career, like when I started, like when I was like working 3 different jobs, and you could argue that was like freelance, it's like you are working to the bone and you're kind of given this like idea of like the grind is the life that you want. Like,
hustle mentality.
The hustle, like you want to be up till 3 a.m. and like editing all night and not getting any sleep and work. And like at first, like that's kind of what you have to do to get into this. Whether or not you want to go full time in the creative industry or freelance in the full creative industry, like I did it too, so I think that's just kind of something that's holding, but I think it's the way you then separate it when you get into your own world of like, now, your home office is your home. You have your computer there all the time. Like, so you don't really leave that space, and like your camera gear is always there, and you always have that little itch because you're your own boss. You can make your own schedule. You can tell yourself, I'm going to take this day to do client work, and then the next day I'm going to make a YouTube video. It's like, it's hard to separate yourself because it kind of, your hobby becomes
it's embedded.
Your passion and your hobby become your work, but it's also still your passion passion, your hobby, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like I get what you mean by like you kind of can't separate that.
Yeah, exactly. I think like the one thing I'll touch on too is because you love it so much, there's always that cliche line of like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But like, I work all the time. Like but I still love what I do.
When I did my podcast with Taylor Iannarelli, like the Leafs producer, there's this one line, and I referenced it in my last YouTube video because I just went through this whole month-long slog, and he said in the podcast, he's like, I asked him, like, what's the one piece of advice you give to someone who wants to work in sports? And I think this applies for freelance too. Like, and he says, like, if you really, like, you have to fucking love.
Yeah.
Like, in my case, you have to love sports, but I think in general, you have to love creative work. And, like, you really have to just want it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. It's like you're given that, and it's just kind of up to interpretation. And then it's up to you to decide, how do I separate this is what I love and separate from the rest of my life.
You're actually putting a price tag on your art, and therefore art is subjective. So like it's tough in a way because you don't want to relate your self-worth to your work, but you kind of end up doing it, especially if you love it.
You are your business.
Yeah, exactly.
You are the boss.
You are selling yourself.
You are the employee. You are the manager
literally.
who makes sure you check in and check out on time. Like
you are HR.
You're HR. You're the finance department.
Yeah.
You know, you're everything in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, when it comes to working full time, it's a little different. I went through the whole, again, freelance kind of stint, but working full time, and I've been doing it for now just over a year. I'm going to look at this from a perspective of just my job with the NHL. Like, I'm not going to talk about my side. I do YouTube. I do all this stuff. I'm not going to talk about that because this is full time. I'm kind of able to leave my work at the door or at the office. Like, I don't have one typical 9-to-5 schedule, but like I know that between the hours of like 6 and 2 in the morning, which I know seem ridiculous, but like work in sports, I don't know what you want me to tell you. But
I don't know what you want.
I don't know what you want me to say, man. Sports happen tonight. But like the work-life balance comes in two different ways, because in one sense it's like, yeah, I have the 6 to 2, I check in and I check out, and it's kind of shift work. But at the end of the day, like that's really nice because I get to go home, and even though it's late at night, like I have mornings free, right? Like I can do my own creative work. I can see my friends. I can sleep in if I want. I can actually like take care of my body. But to the other hand of it, it's like sometimes for myself, like if I know I have a video coming up and I look at my calendar, I'm like, there's no way I can do this just in these 8-hour intervals. I'm going to be working outside of work. So it's like, as much as I can leave it at the door, there's always the side of like, if I want to really be like efficient, because it's really hard. It's really hard for me. And I think this is the one thing with freelance that I really enjoy and that I don't get with full-time all the time, is that I enjoy that with freelance, you can edit whenever you want. There are certain points of the day, or certain days that you just feel more creative. And like for me,
you get in the flow more.
Yeah, you get in the flow more.
Yeah.
For me, I really like, it's for me late at night, so it works with my like schedule. But there are just like, I think the thing with full-time is that you work-life balance, like you're forced to be creative every single day. And it's very draining. It's tough. You can take 2 days off. You can schedule yourself more.
Yep.
With me, my work-life balance is like, I'm editing and I'm not really feeling it because there's maybe just not that day, but I have to because it's my full-time job. So like work-life balance in that sense, I can leave it at the office. I can't always do it though, because there's deadlines, there's things that have to get done. Part of the work-life balance is like, especially working in sports, in a very unique situation, but like I miss holidays. I miss people's birthdays. I like this year for New Year's, like I was in Boston. I was working the Winter Classic. I wasn't able to spend New Year's with my family. And like it's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna miss moments in my family's life. Like I'm probably gonna miss my dad's birthday, Stanley Cup Finals in June. If I'm there, I'm not gonna be there. So like that's part of the work-life balance too. It's not checking in and checking out. It's like when I'm working full time, I have a responsibility. You can say no to clients. You can say, oh, you want me to work December 25th, kick rocks. But like I can't tell my boss that same way, especially because it depending on that time of year. So like I worked through my birthday last year. Not that that's, I love what I do, so I literally don't mind ever. But I worked through my birthday, right? Like I was in Montreal for my birthday working the draft.
Yeah.
So
just imagine if you didn't love this job, that would cause friction. That would be irritating to some people if they didn't really like it.
And when I was in school, and I went to a media program here in Toronto, TMU Sport Media, and not Ryerson anymore, so TMU Sport Media. One of the first things they tell you is like you need to be prepared to give up your weekends, give up your weeknights, and give up like holidays. Like it's just the fact of the matter. So like as much as like, yeah, I get to leave stuff at the door, you're making sacrifices either way, freelancing or full-timing. You just make sacrifices.
Technically I was freelance, but I had a 4-month contract with Elevate, which was like a big festival, tech festival in Toronto. And that was my very first time like having a very small full-time job, like actually 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And I was like, what is this? If you were full-time at Elevate, you would get holidays off. You know what I mean? So it's a difference between like working in sport, being full-time.
It's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing. So,
but that's like a tech, that's like a conference too. Like if you work in television, that's a different thing. If you work in like full-time production, like it's a different thing, right? Like you could own your own business, hire people full-time underneath you. That's completely different. My thing is just like sports happen year round. We play through Christmas, we play through New Year's, you know, like it's just part of the gig.